Story 1. The influencer's last live, Maya Alvarez lived for the numbers. Her world revolved around likes, comments, and the little red heart notifications that poured into her phone each morning. At 22, she had built a following of nearly 500,000 people on Instagram. Each post meticulously curated outfits, color-coordinated, captions playful but polished, hashtags chosen with surgical precision. Tonight, she wanted to hit her next milestone, her biggest livestream yet. The golden hour glow flooded her apartment, bouncing off the new designer handbag perched neatly on her vanity. She angled her ring light, checked her lipstick in the front-facing camera, and pressed the button. "Hey my loves," she chirped, waving at the screen as thousands of usernames poured into the chat. Little hearts bubbled up the side of her phone as her audience grew. "Guess what I've got for you today, my new luxury haul. You're not ready." Her followers weren't here just for her purchases. They adored the glimpses into her apartment, her life. She spun the camera to show off her chic white-walled studio. Glass coffee table, fake eucalyptus in a vase, the balcony with fairy lights strung across. "You guys always ask how I decorate, well this is it. Small space but cute, right?" She leaned closer to the phone, laughing. "Ignore the mess over there, I'm still unpacking." The chat flooded at trendily. "Girl, your apartment is goals at Darkwatcher. I see you at Urban Fox 44. What's behind you?" Maya squinted at the comments. "You guys are so funny." "Nothing behind me, just my mirror." She lifted the phone and spun it so they could see. A tall standing mirror leaned against the wall, catching her reflection in a gold frame. For a moment she thought she saw movement, a flicker in the background, but it was just her own laugh, echoing strangely in the empty space. She carried on, showing each item, the glittering bracelet, the silk scarf, the handbag she had saved 3 months for. The comments scrolled faster. At Silverhawk Maya, "Check your door." At Darkwatcher, "He's inside." At Hearts for Maya, "Stop, you're scaring me." Maya's giggle faltered. "Okay, trolls. Very funny." She rolled her eyes, though her hand brushed unconsciously against her front door lock. She knew this game. Her followers sometimes tried to spook her during lives, just for reactions. "Anyway," she said brightly, "look at this detail. Totally worth a splurge." But the comments wouldn't stop at ghosted. "Don't turn around." At Darkwatcher, "I'm closer." At trendy_Lily, "Wait, do you guys see that?" "What?" Maya asked, staring at the screen. Someone typed, "There's a shadow in the mirror." Her smile stiffened. She flicked her eyes to the mirror again. Her reflection beamed back, handbag dangling in her hand, but the corner of the mirror, dark, deeper than the rest of the room, seemed to ripple. A prickling ran down her neck. "Lighting's weird. Sorry. This ring light makes shadows all over the place." She forced another laugh. "See, it's just me." The viewers weren't convinced. The chat flooded in frantic bursts. At AngleXOGirl, "Seriously, end the stream." At Darkwatcher, "Too late." At Hext_boy, "He's behind you right now." Maya's phone buzzed in her palm. A DM notification slid across the screen. She frowned. How could someone message while she was live? She glanced at the preview. It was a picture of her, taken from behind. Her hands trembled as she tapped it. The photo filled the screen, her sitting at her vanity, phone in hand, live streaming, captured from the corner of the room where no one stood. The caption beneath it read, "Smile." Her viewers saw her face drain of color. The comments turned panicked. At Trendily End, "Et now." At Ghosted, Maya, "Run." At Darkwatcher, "Don't bother locking the balcony." Her head snapped to the sliding glass door. She had closed it earlier, she was sure, but now it stood slightly ajar, curtains fluttering in the night breeze. The camera wobbled as she stood, her breath quickening. "This isn't funny," she whispered, a cheerful facade crumbling. "Whoever's doing this, stop." She stepped toward the balcony, phone trembling in her hand. Her live audience watched as she slid the door shut with a firm click and yanked the lock. "See," she said, trying to steady her voice. "No one here, just trolls." The comments disagreed. At Urban Fox 44, "Behind you." At Angleso, "Oh my god." It moved. At Darkwatcher, "Smile wider." Something shifted in the mirror. Not her reflection. A shape taller, darker, stepping into view just over her shoulder. The phone clattered to the vanity, landing sideways. The screen showed a skewed angle of Maya's apartment, fairy lights glowing faintly. Her followers watched the blur of her scrambling figure, heard her panicked breath. Then a man's silhouette crossed the reflection. Thousands of viewers typed warnings, screaming into the void of the scrolling chat. Powerless. Maya's voice rose in a strangled cry. "Who are you? Get out. Get out." The camera jolted violently, as if struck. For a moment, the live froze, pixels tearing across the screen. Then a sound flesh against wood, a muffled scream. Something heavy toppled. The last thing her audience saw was the mirror shattering out of frame, shards catching the ring light in blinding flashes. Then silence. The stream cut to black. By morning, the live had replayed a million times, shared across every platform. Comment sections filled with speculations, some swearing they saw the intruder's face, others insisting it was all staged. But Maya's account never posted again. Her luxury hall sat untouched on the vanity when police entered her apartment. The sliding door was locked from the inside. Her phone, still streaming when they found it, displayed one new unread DM. It was another picture, Maya eyes wide, mouth forced into a too-wide grin, caned in the exact same spot where she de-stood the night before. The caption read, "Told you to smile." Story 2. The viral hashtag challenge, they called it hashtag shadow tag, the latest viral craze sweeping Instagram. Teens around the country posted photos of themselves at haunted or abandoned locations, deserted amusement parks, forgotten asylums, crumbling mansions with the challenge promise, tag yourself, then tag the shadows. When Casey, Marisol, Joe, and Carlos learned of the trend, they thought it was harmless fun. They were thrill seekers, into everything spooky, for likes and laughs. Posting weird selfies got them attention. Doing it somewhere eerie was practically viral waiting to happen. Their target, Mapleworth Asylum, a long-shuttered psychiatric hospital rumored to still breathe with restless spirits. Late one Friday night, they piled into Joe's car cases of energy drinks, flashlights, a tripod, and 3 phones fully charged. They dressed in black windbreakers, only subtle, casual, like ghost hunters without years of YouTube videos behind them. A metal chain groaned when they forced open the rusted gate. The hospital loomed like a corpse in moonlight, long archways cracked, windows bordered askew. Morning's caution faded on the sharp, cold air. Ready, Joe aimed the camera. Casey struck a pose in the corridor graffiti, peeling paint, dust motes drifting in the flashlight beam. "Let's do this," she grinned, tag in hand, hashtag shadow tag. Each teased out a photo, one by one. Carlos stood near the intake desk, Marisol in a side room. Every picture looked perfectly normal until the uploading. They sat in the car afterward, thumbs tapping out the uploads with exaggerated expressions. Fear, surprise, curiosity. Joe typed the tags. Hashtag shadow tag, hashtag Mapleworth, hashtag adventure. Within minutes, the likes began. Notifications pinged, but something else showed shadows. Almost subtle at first, an extra dark shape in Joe's doorframe. A slender silhouette curling over Casey's shoulder. They all laughed, pointed them out in the previews. "Neat filter," Carlos joked as they watched replayed shots. But as the minutes ticked, something changed. On Marisol's post, the shadow elongated, stretched behind her, more defined, more menacing. She gasped. They zoomed in. The silhouette had humanoid shape, malformed, too tall, too still. "Guys, see that?" she whispered. They checked the others. Each image had a similar shift. The shadows multiplied. In Casey's photo, it almost looked like a second person crouched behind her. She pictured them blinking, but when they reopened earlier images, the shadows persisted and changed. "Probably just the app messing up," Carlos said, but sweat beaded his brow. They debated whether to delete the posts. They hesitated. Views were climbing, comments flooding. "Spooky. Is that a ghost? This is awesome." Instead, they loaded up for round 2. Joe suggested the cafeteria, overhead lights crackling, abandoned tables still set in dusty patterns. Casey stood behind a counter, Marisol behind her. They reenacted their shots to friends. Haunted strollers this time, with whispered jokes to lighten the mood. They uploaded again. The new shadows bent into unnatural shapes, one dragging across the tiled floor, another oozing up the wall. They looked away, shaking. "Okay, this isn't normal," Marisol said, voice tight. Joe pulled her phone close. "But it's perfect for our story. For the views, people will share this for sure." They glanced at the screen. The comments had a dark note. "We're watching you, shadow tag's real. It knows." Chilled, they bolted out of the building toward the chain link gate. The air outside tasted like rust and regret. Later, back at Casey's house, they congregated in the basement to examine everything under better lighting. Shots lined up on the screen, each one darker. They played in a row, shadows advancing, leaning, forming grotesque imitation human limbs. On the 59th shot, a group selfie, they all stared into the phone. Behind them, a gaunt figure hovered, face obscured, limbs crooked, eyes mostly shadows, mouth a jagged slash. It was close, hovering inches from Casey's shoulder. She gasped and dropped the phone. They all looked around the dim basement, backlit on the wall by a single bulb. The silhouette stood, matching the ghastly form in the photo. Not just a dark, blurry shape, but real, present, breathing, not breathing but pulsing, Marisol screamed. The shadow didn't flicker in candlelight. It was real, and stretching into orbit, its head cocked, conversationless, observing. They backed toward the stairs. Joe tried the lights. A clunk, then black in the pitch. Something whispered behind them, a soft scrape against concrete. After what felt like hours, Joe fumbled a phone flashlight. Blue screen, notifications glowing. Among them, a message from an unknown user. Your post was good, but it's not complete. Film again. Their breathing sounded loud in the brittle dark. No one answered. In the morning, only one phone remained by the dangling basement light. Casey's. The others were gone. Phones, names, stories vanished. The screen was filled with the group's original #shadow tag posts. Now muted gold hearts, but also tagged by a new account. At shadow_found_you with a single poster live video. They clicked it. Live footage. The group, arms raised, turned toward the camera, faces flattened in terror. Shadows loomed, completely engulfing them. Within seconds, their bodies jerked once, twice, the silhouettes, merging them, and then collapsing. The feed cut out. Police found no signs of forced entry at Casey's home. The basement door was locked from inside. Their accounts remained full of posts that shifted, grew, leaked shadows and nothing more. The #shadow tag hashtag continued. New thrill seekers posted still, unaware or unafraid. The shadows in those posts, bigger now, watching closer. Story 3. The follower that wouldn't leave. Alina Torres didn't notice the new follower at first. With over 12,000 people on her Instagram, strangers appeared on her list every day. But this one was different. The username was @waitingforyou. No profile picture, no posts, just a blank account. She shrugged it off. Bots followed her all the time, but unlike the others, this one never left. That night, after uploading a story of her latte art at the cafe near campus, she noticed the notification @waitingforyou, viewed your story. Just them, again. Weird, she thought, but maybe it was just some obsessed lurker. The next morning she uploaded a selfie sitting on the library steps, scarf wrapped tight against the cold. Within minutes, the same follower liked it. Then came the comment, "That book looks good, how's it taste?" Elena froze. The book wasn't visible in the photo. It was in her lap, face down, title obscured. How would they know? She deleted the comment, shook it off. Maybe it was coincidence. But then the DMS began. The first was harmless enough, a smile emoji. She ignored it. The second came minutes later. A photo, her own photo. She opened it and saw herself at that exact moment, sitting in the library, phone in hand, head bent. The picture had been taken from behind her, as though someone was standing just a few feet away. Her stomach dropped. She whipped around. The library's main hall was full of students, headphones in, laptops open. None of them looked at her, none had their phones pointed in her direction. She shoved her things into her bag and ran home. Over the next days, the account's activity escalated. Every photo she posted received an instant like. Every story was viewed within seconds. The comments grew more invasive. Cute pajamas, red looks nice on you. You should lock your window tonight. Elena's skin crawled. She checked her curtains. Yes, she had left them half open, but the idea of someone watching through them made her slam them shut. Heart racing. She went private, blocked the account. Relief settled over her. For a few hours, at least. Until the next morning, her phone buzzed with a new follow request. The username, @waitingforyou. Same blank profile, then another, @w4@you, and another, @im still waiting for you. No matter how many she blocked, more appeared, always watching, always waiting. By the third night, she was too scared to sleep. She sat in her darkened apartment, clutching her phone. At 2:13 a.m., a new notification jolted her. Her Instagram had posted a picture. She hadn't posted anything. The photo showed her lying in bed, blanket pulled to her chin, eyes half closed. It was recent seconds, recent. The caption read, soon her heart hammered against her ribs. She scrambled out of bed, searched the apartment, closet empty, bathroom empty, kitchen empty. Then she saw the balcony door, slightly ajar, letting in a thread of night air. She always locked it, always. She slammed it shut, pulled the curtains, dialed campus security with shaking hands. They searched the building, found nothing, told her it was probably a digital prank, but the photos kept coming, her profile filled with images she never took, brushing her teeth, cooking dinner, studying at her desk, always taken from an angle just behind her shoulder, or just outside the window. She stopped leaving her apartment. She stopped going to class. Her friends texted, but she couldn't explain. How could she? One night, Alina decided to delete her Instagram. She sat on the couch, thumb hovering over deactivate account. Her phone buzzed before she could press it. Another DM from @waiting4you. It was a video. Hands trembling, she pressed play. The camera swayed slightly, as though filmed from waist height. It walked slowly through her apartment, past the kitchen, past the bathroom toward her bedroom. The video ended with her door in view. The caption read, "Knock knock." Alina dropped the phone. At that exact moment, 3 soft knocks echoed from the other side of her bedroom door. Her breath caught. She backed into the corner, dialing 911 with fumbling fingers. The line connected. 911, "What's your emergency?" "There's someone in my apartment," she stammered, voice cracking. The operator kept her calm until the police arrived. They swept through her apartment, every room, every corner, empty. "Are you sure you weren't dreaming?" one officer asked, giving her a sympathetic look. She showed him the video, but when she opened Instagram, her account was blank. No DMs, no posts, nothing. They left her with reassurances and a recommendation for better locks. That night, she tried to sleep. Her phone buzzed one last time. A new notification, a new post. It was another selfie, but not one she remembered taking. She lay frozen as she stared at the image. It was her sitting in the corner of her room, eyes wide with terror, phone in hand. The picture looked exactly like she did now. Exactly, the caption read, "You look perfect, don't move." When her roommate returned 3 days later, Alina was gone. Her phone sat abandoned on the bed, screen cracked, Instagram logged out. Her account, though, was still active. Every week a new post appeared, always a selfie, always Alina, always from angles she couldn't possibly have taken herself. And every caption the same, "Still waiting." Story 4. Filters of the damned Nolan Parker was obsessed with photography. While his classmates wasted hours scrolling feeds, Nolan studied light, shadow, composition. Instagram was his gallery, his shrine. Every shot he posted abandoned barns, rainy streets, foggy bridges earned him small bursts of recognition. Not influencer-level fame, but enough to keep him hungry. When he wasn't outside, he experimented with filters. He loved testing beta apps, editing hacks, anything that gave his images a sharper, stranger edge. So when a late-night scroll through a photography forum led him to a leaked Instagram filter pack, he couldn't resist. Most were ordinary sepia tones, dreamy pastel washes, cyberpunk neons, but one caught his attention. No preview, no description, just a grayed-out thumbnail and a warning in the comments. "Don't use it, not a joke." Nolan grinned, exactly his style. The next day he tried it. He opened his camera, framed his cluttered living room, and tapped SpectraVision. At first, nothing seemed unusual. The colors deepened, shadows stretched. Then he noticed it. A faint, transparent figure standing in the corner by his bookshelf. He blinked, lowered the filter. The corner was empty. He lifted the phone again. There it was, the outline of a person. Thin, elongated, head cocked unnaturally to the side. His heart quickened. "Creepy," he muttered, snapping a photo anyway. He uploaded it to his story. Within minutes, comments poured in. "At Artsium dude, who's in your house?" At Photophile22. "That filter's insane. Drop the link." At Ghost Chaser. "Careful, that thing's not fake." Nolan smirked at the last one. Trolls. Always trolls. Over the next week he tested SpectraVision everywhere. At the park, pale figures slouched under trees. At the cafe, a shadow sat in an empty chair across from him. In his own mirror selfie, something tall loomed behind him, hands resting inches from his shoulders. His followers loved it. Every post gained double the likes of his usual work. People begged for tutorials, begging for the filter link. Nolan guarded it jealously. This was his breakthrough. But something bothered him. The figures weren't random. Each day they seemed closer. At first, they lingered in the distance. By the third week, they filled the frame faces, warped mouths gaping, eyes black pits that seemed to follow him even when he lowered the phone. He tried Spectrovision on old photos, shots he'd taken years ago. The figures appeared there, two hazy silhouettes bending around people, staring through windows, crouching in hallways. They had always been there, the filter just revealed them. One night, Nolan woke to a buzzing sound. His phone lay face up on the nightstand, screen glowing. His Instagram had gone live. He hadn't started it bleary-eyed. He picked it up. The stream displayed his bedroom, him lying in bed. But there were others too. At least 6 shadowed figures crowded the frame, standing around his bed in a loose circle, their faces clearer than ever before. Viewers flooded the comments. At Haunted Bew, is this staged? At Livestream Lover, bro wake up. At Ghost Chaser, it's too late. Nolan sat upright in panic. The stream camera still showed him lying down. He ended the live, hands shaking. But within seconds it restarted. His phone vibrated violently, refusing to power down. The stream carried on without him touching it, showing more and more figures pressing closer to his bed. The next morning, Nolan deleted the filter. Or tried to. It wasn't listed among his effects anymore. But every photo he took inside Instagram, outside, even with a disposable digital camera, came back the same. Distorted, haunted by the same stretching forms. His last desperate attempt was to stop taking photos altogether. But his account continued to post without him. Every night a new carousel appeared. The first photo, Nolan sitting at his desk, eyes bloodshot, staring at the screen. The second, the room dark, shadows gathered around him. The third, the figures closer, some crouching, some crawling. The final slide, black, with a caption, "You shouldn't have looked." The comments section exploded. Some swore it was performance art, others begged him to stop. Nolan himself hadn't logged in for days. Friends knocked on his apartment door, no answer. When police finally entered, they found the space immaculate camera equipment neatly arranged, tripod still standing by the window. His phone lay on the desk, battery drained, screen cracked, but the walls were covered floor to ceiling with hundreds of printed photos. Each one was Nolan. In some, he sat at his desk. In others, he lay sleeping. In many, he stood facing the camera, expression blank, eyes vacant, and always the figures surrounded him, sharper, more solid, faces stretched in grotesque smiles. The most recent print was tacked dead center, Nolan, standing at the apartment door, hand reaching for the knob. Behind him, one of the figures touched his shoulder with long black fingers. No one has seen Nolan Parker since, but his account remains. Every few nights, a new post appears, the same format, the same carousel, and the same final slide. Now you see us too. Story 5. The Forgotten Password. Daniel Cho had always been meticulous with his accounts. Strong passwords, two-step verification. Password manager. He wasn't careless like his friends. But one Monday morning, while groggy from an ornithor, he couldn't log into his Instagram. He typed the password 3 times. Each attempt failed. A banner popped up. Incorrect password. Reset. Annoyed, he clicked reset. Seconds later, an email arrived. Click here to recover your account. He tapped without thinking. At first, nothing seemed wrong. His feed loaded as usual. Same posts, same friends, same selfies. He breathed out relief. But something was off. Near the top of his grid sat a new poster picture of his apartment building. The shot was taken from outside, across the street, at night. The caption read, "Back home." Daniel frowned. He hadn't uploaded that. He deleted the post and changed his password again. 2-step verification. Problem solved, or so he thought. The next morning, his phone buzzed with frantic texts. "Bro, WTF, is that on your page? Dan, take it down now." Not funny. Heart hammering. He opened Instagram. A new set of photos filled his grid. The first was his bedroom, his unmade bed, his laptop glowing on the desk. The second was the kitchen sink, a dirty plate inside. The third, Daniel himself, sleeping, blanket pulled to his chin. The captions were short, just timestamps. Each one matched the times he'd actually been asleep. Daniel deleted them, shaking. This was beyond a hack. Someone had access to his apartment. He tore the place apart, closets, bathroom, under the bed, nothing. The locks were untouched. That night, he stayed awake, determined to catch whoever was doing this. He sat at his desk with a baseball bat, watching the door. Hours crawled, his eyes drooped, a buzz startled him. His phone lit up with a new notification. Instagram Live at Danny Elko is streaming now. His breath froze. He hadn't gone live. He tapped the notification. The live feed showed his room from the corner, angled at him. There he was, sitting at his desk, bat in hand, looking pale and terrified. Comments streamed in. At Ghostedno staged. At Mirrorboy he doesn't know. At Shadowguest, smile, Daniel. Daniel spun to the corner. Empty. He checked the phone, still streaming. The camera caught something he couldn't see with his eyes. A faint outline, tall and motionless, standing just feet away. Panicked, he ended the live. The stream restarted instantly. His phone vibrated until his hands went numb. He hurled it across the room. The buzzing continued in the dark. The next day he went to the police. They dismissed it as digital harassment. Probably a hacker, they said. Get a new device, change your passwords. He did. New phone, fresh account, but the posts kept appearing. Photos of him brushing his teeth, walking to class, riding the bus. Angles that didn't make sense, like someone was filming from directly behind his head. His new phone buzzed. Notification. 2 devices are logged into your account. He froze. He hadn't logged into any other device. The app listed them. iPhone 14 Los Angeles U. Unknown device. Location unavailable. The unknown device began uploading. His feed refreshed automatically. A new carousel appeared. The first slide, Daniel sitting at his desk, staring at his phone. The second, the camera closer, hovering over his shoulder. The third, blackness, with text scrawled across in white font. Don't fight it. Sleep deprived, Daniel confided in his roommate, Matt. Maybe you're hacked by some psycho, Matt said. Or it's like AI deepfake crap. But when Matt scrolled Daniel's feed, his face drained. Dude, this one. The most recent post wasn't Daniel. It was Matt sitting on the couch, scrolling his phone, exactly as he was right now. The photo had gone up seconds earlier. They bolted. Daniel crashed at his parents' house for a week. He logged out of everything, deleted Instagram entirely. For a few nights, silence, no new photos, no lives. But on the 6th night, his mum woke him, trembling. There's someone downstairs. Daniel grabbed a flashlight, creeping to the kitchen. The back door was ajar. Cold air poured in. On the counter lay his old phone, the one he'd thrown. Screen cracked, still glowing. It buzzed once. A new post. The picture showed Daniel, standing exactly where he was now, flashlight in hand. The caption, "Welcome home." His parents called the police. Again, nothing. "Someone's messing with you," they said. "You're safe." But Daniel didn't feel safe. He hadn't for weeks. He tried one last time to reclaim his account. He logged in, scrolled to settings, and pressed delete account. The app froze, then flickered. A new post appeared instantly. It was a video this time. Shaky, low light. The camera moved through the house, down the hallway, into the living room. It pointed directly at Daniel, who sat staring at his phone, jaw slack. In the video, a hand appeared from behind him, pale and claw-like, reaching toward his shoulder. The caption read, "Password accepted." When police returned days later, the house was empty. Daniel's belongings were untouched. His parents hadn't heard him leave. His phone was gone, but his account still remained. Every few days, a new live broadcast starts automatically. Viewers pile in, watching shaky footage of dim hallways, echoing footsteps, and, sometimes, a fleeting glimpse of Daniel. But he never speaks, he never blinks. And always, at the end, a pale hand covers the camera. The stream cuts to black.